Welcome back to the Homestretch podcast. Today's episode is going to be a bit about manifestation because I feel like I'm getting a little bit low-key frustrated with it at the moment. And I have manifested quite a lot in my life from things from, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago that I desired, I have right now. And looking back at that, I didn't exactly like manifest because I was forcing it to happen, if that kind of makes sense. But I have been on a really weird journey with manifestation where I have done all the methods you can even think of, the 369, the, visualization and all of that. And I do think, as much as I love manifestation and I love everything quite spiritual, I do think it can be quite confusing. And I want to kind of talk through today a few experiences that I've had in terms of manifesting, what has worked, what hasn't worked, and like my hot take on it, really, because at the moment, there's a few things in my life that I'm not exactly happy with, right? So, for example, one area of my life is I'm not making the amount of money that I want to be making. And for me, I feel like I'm doing all the right things to be able to get there, but it's just not showing up in my life. I'm making enough, but I'm not making, I want to go like above and beyond in terms of how much money I'm making. I really want to be successful, and that's something that I want to strive for. And that's just a personal goal of mine. It's not for everyone, but for me, that's what I want. So I have been really trying to focus and hone in on like, why is this not happening for me? What's not working? Is it me? And then you start having this like internal battle with, a lot of people online that do say manifestation and things in your 3D come internally. So then you kind of feel like the victim and you feel like you're at fault for things not working out in your life. And that is one thing about manifestation and the people that talk about it online and in books and stuff that really aggravates me, because it makes you be the problem. And then it puts you in more of like a spiral of like, well, if I'm the problem, then that's it. Like there's nothing else I can do. I'm the one that's causing this. So whatever, basically. So I think today's episode is going to be talking a bit about manifestation because I am kind of going through that phase right now where I have been very spiritual for a lot of my life, all my life, basically. Probably since I was in my early 20s, I got into spirituality because a lot of things happened in my life, traumatic things, and it changed the way I viewed myself. It changed the way I viewed the world and people. And I was in a pretty dark place, to be honest. And everyone goes through different things in life. But for me, my early 20s, I think around when I was 21, was like the worst year of my life. So I think from then I was kind of searching for answers, and spirituality just seemed to be one of them. So I got into it. I started seeing a few clairvoyants and I loved it. And I loved it. So I have been into it ever since, and I have understood it as much as I can. I read a lot of self-help books, and I feel like I'm quite knowledgeable about manifestation. And I have, like I said before, I have manifested a lot in my life. So for example, a loving, caring, understanding, compassionate, kind, like beautiful partner, which is Nathan. He is all of the above. I couldn't have asked for anyone more perfect in my life. I think the only thing that we don't fully align with is our music taste, and that is fine. Like, he listens to his kind of music and I listen to mine. We do have a shared interest in music in terms of older style music, but more modern music, but our tastes are just a bit different, and that's okay. But everything else is like so perfect. And I have wrote down before on a piece of paper exactly what I wanted in a partner after I've been through quite a lot of previous toxic relationships. And since then, Nathan came into my life pretty quickly. And I do think that happened not because I was manifesting Nathan or I was writing down what I wanted and visualizing on it. I wasn't doing that. I actually wasn't forcing the manifestations at all at this point. In my mind, I actually kind of gave up, I think, a little bit in my mind as to, well, I keep attracting the same type of people. It's getting better with each partner. So in my mind, I was still learning and doing better every relationship, but I still wasn't fully learning from my mistakes and not setting the proper boundaries, because in previous relationships, I really should have left like a long time before, but I held out and thought that I could make it work with certain people, and it just was not ever going to work. So I think as I was going through my different relationships, I was putting my foot down more and holding my boundaries more. And as I was doing that, I think I was showing to myself that I was strong enough to be able to say no. And if that meant that that person had to leave my life, then that's okay. And I was okay with that, even though it's not nice being on your own again and you feel like you kind of have to start all over again. But I got to the point where I thought, I don't mind if that happens because I know my worth and I know my boundaries and I know what I will and won't accept from a partner. So it was when I kind of set those boundaries is what brought all these manifestations into my life, like naturally, not having to visualize, not having to do any methods or any like journaling or anything. Or, when people kind of journal as if they're in their future, but they talk about it as if they're in their present. I wasn't even doing stuff like that. So I feel like because I was holding my boundaries and I knew my self-worth, then it naturally brought Nathan into my life. It was like the craziest thing. And it came in like the weirdest circumstances. We both went to Glastonbury in 2023, and we all know how hard it is to get Glastonbury tickets, okay? It's super hard. And it's like winning a golden ticket from Charlie and Chocolate Factory. Like, it is a once in a lifetime opportunity to even go to Glastonbury. And the fact that we were both going that same year was like amazing. And I've known Nathan a long time, since I was probably like 13 or 14. We were in towns next to each other and we actually dated way back in the day, I think when we were 16. So he was 17 and I was 16. And yeah, we went on like a few dates and I think we exchanged numbers and stuff. But back then it was the BlackBerry. So we don't have any old like communication or conversations or anything, which is frustrating. But in our Facebook chat from 10 or 13 years ago, however long it was, I sent him my number with a red love heart. And I'm like, hun, you were 16. Like, why are you sending that to someone you're not even with? Embarrassing. So I look back at that now and I'm like, wow, it's just so crazy that our worlds went separate and then they've come back together. We've kind of both had to learn different things in life and then join back together on this path, on this lifetime. It's pretty incredible. And now we're engaged and we're getting married hopefully next year. So yeah, and that's obviously something that I wanted. I wanted a kind person that wasn't going to be a toxic relationship. They weren't going to treat me badly, because I feel like I've been in quite a lot of emotionally abusive relationships throughout my life, really. So I was always a kind of pushover as well. I feel like I never really put my foot down. And like I said, when I did start doing that, I maybe told my internal body that this is like the right thing that you're doing. We're going to give you more of what you think you deserve. So then, because you do deserve this type thing. And Nathan is like the most kindest, sweetest, communicative, like understanding person I've ever met in my life. I love him so much and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with him. And we've got a beautiful home. That's obviously something that I have always wanted to manifest into my life, is like having our own house, our own space, get married, have like children. Like, it's just loads of things are coming together. And so in terms of that sort of stuff has manifested into my life without me having to force or do anything. So now that it comes to the point where I'm happy with my home, I'm happy with my relationship, I'm happy with myself, the kind of part now where I'm a little bit question mark and a little bit more confused on is like my career and my like the money that's coming in. And yeah, like I said, even though it is enough, I still want to strive for more and I want to be earning like money. And I know the only person to do that is me. And I feel like I am doing the things, I'm putting the things in place to be able to do that. But sometimes things just aren't aligning for me at the moment. And that's why I'm feeling this real disconnect and real like kind of butting heads with the universe, because I'm like, I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. Why am I not being rewarded for that? So I do feel like maybe I'm trying too hard. And they do say that is a thing with manifestation. Like when you really try like super hard and you're kind of like, in a way, a bit desperate, and it's a little bit like beggy behavior. Does that kind of make sense? And they kind of say because you're wanting it so much, it's getting pushed away. It's like when, I don't know, you're dating someone and they're not replied to you, so you like text them over and over and over again. That energy is like pushing them away. Whereas when you like retract, you find that they then come forward and then they text you or message you when you actually retract your energy. So it's kind of similar, I think, in a sense of things that you want in life. If you want them so bad and you're like, you've got this desperate energy of want, it gets retracted from you. But then if you just relax and like go with the flow and be at ease, then things will naturally come into and fall into your lap. So I'm trying to approach my situation with my career and my money in terms of that. But it's so hard when obviously money is like a huge thing in terms of energy, in terms of a source of survival. Back in the day, people used to trade things, but now people use money for survival and keeping a roof over your head, feeding you and your family. So I think for me, that's the annoying part, because I know what I want and I know what I can be, but like, I don't know what's stopping me or what's stagnating my energy, because I do feel like the past few weeks, my energy's been a little bit on the decline, where I've overthought a lot. I'm getting a little bit more anxious. Like even laying in bed sometimes, my mind is racing at the moment. And it's so frustrating because usually I can get to bed early, wake up early, but recently I've just not been able to do that. So I think there's just so many thoughts going on in my head of like ideas and content and this and that, and I can't seem to just relax. So I'm really trying to hone in on my mindfulness based practices, because I know that that calms my mind. And that's probably one of the main tips I can give you if you're really wanting something in life and you just feel like you're not getting it and it's frustrating you and you're getting angry and you're getting really emotional, because I've broken down quite a few times about this recently, and I've been in a place where my mind is just overstimulated and I'm angry at the universe or the whatever, and just being in a bit of a victim mindset where it's like, well, why are you doing this to me? What have I done wrong to deserve this? Like you kind of go into that, victim mind space where you do think the world is against you, but like you're the only person that can snap yourself out of that. And I got up, I think I sat on the floor, I had a little cry, and I got up and I was like, no, this is not you. This is not the energy that you want. Like your future self will not want this type of energy around her and around her life. So get up, like basically shake yourself off and get cracking. And I think I needed to be in that place to shake off that negative energy. And I guess it was like a release for me. And when that happened, I then had this newfound energy where I was like, go, go, go. I was really proactive. I was really motivated. I was really focused. And I literally worked for like 12 hours that day. So I feel like sometimes you need to experience those low moments to then actually figure out, I definitely do not want to feel like that. That is not the energy I want. And it reminds you of what you do want, and then you'll strive more towards that. Does that kind of make sense? That's the way I view it anyways. Obviously, everyone's going to view things like that differently. And some people might think I'm actually like bat crazy, but I believe in this stuff. And yeah, I think going back to the kind of start that I was talking about, I was watching this girl on YouTube and she was saying, if you strive for your manifestations so much, then they won't happen for you. Like, stop trying to manifest because it won't work. And it's like, people tell you to sit there and visualize your life. So surely that's trying to manifest. So should you not be doing that? So sometimes I do think there's a lot of conflicting things online, and it does confuse me, and it angers me a little bit, because you do think, well, you're doing what they say and now you're doing what they say, but then they're both contradicting each other. So I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing. Am I supposed to be, thinking about my future self, or is that me trying too hard and wanting to manifest? So then it's obviously not going to happen, because that's a desperate energy of what I want in the future, but I don't have that now. Do you know what I mean? It's very confusing. And again, I do think they like to put the emphasis on you and be like, if you're not getting your manifestations, then you're doing something wrong. And I don't think that's fair. Like, I do agree that your energy is the one that changes the way you view things, but by saying that your internal world shows out in your 3D as a mirror and it's not something that you want, then yes, you're going to feel internally like sad, because you're going to think, well, I'm the cause of that, so how am I supposed to change it? So I do think this next week I am trying to have a different mind space. I'm trying to meditate more, walk more. Basically, my top goals for March, because we're in March now, which is so exciting, is to walk 10,000 steps a day. I generally do this anyways, but I'm going to make it an actual thing for me to go out on a walk on my own, stick my headphones on and just go for like a half an hour walk Obviously, it's a bit more sunny now, so it's a lot nicer. But I do think getting outside, getting some fresh air, it makes me feel so good. So that's a kind of form of mindfulness that I love. And then also meditation. I did a meditation a few weeks ago, and it was like a 30-minute, like real powerful meditation, and I absolutely loved it. So I think for me, I'm gonna try to do at least 20 minutes a day. And if I can do half an hour, I will. But I'm making excuses for myself and saying, oh, but I'm busy, oh, I'm doing this, oh, I'm doing that. Whereas last night, when I couldn't really sleep properly, I could have easily stuck my headphones on and just done a half-hour meditation. And I really struggled to sleep last night. I don't know what it was, but I was tossing and turning for, I swear to God, like 3 hours. And that's just not like me at all. So I feel like this morning, I am quite tired, but I've got so much to do today. I just think I'm going to get on, crack on. If I need to go for a nap, then I will. But I don't know what's going on with my energy at the moment. I feel like this podcast is like a digital diary, and I am able to kind of like express how I'm feeling, but also sharing things that have helped me and worked for me, and hopefully they can help you too. So even this podcast is something that I absolutely love doing, and I've done it for nearly 9 months now, which is actually crazy. I've never missed a week, by the way. So if you've been here since the start, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, because I do get quite a lot of listeners every week, and it is strange to think that this is like a normalized thing now, where I film, edit, post my podcast, and the fact that some people listening to me is still crazy. But I think this podcast is even something that I thought, is it worth it? Like, are people taking in what I'm saying? Are people gaining something from it? Is it even worth it? So I do get those thoughts as well, where I might even just do a year's worth of these, which I've always said to myself I was going to do, and then kind of think, is it something that I want to carry on doing? But I do absolutely love it. But I guess you're always going to doubt yourself and second guess yourself. So I think in my mind, I always think whatever's meant to be is meant to be. And if I'm supposed to carry on doing this, then like there'll be ways in which I'll be able to carry on doing it. I did want to change my shed into a podcast studio, but even now I'm like, do I even want to do that? I don't know. So yeah, I think things are changing in my life as the months are going by. 2026 has been a really good year, but I feel like the start of, well, probably more like the end of February is probably when it started, but it's just been a little bit chaotic, a little bit different, and not exactly how I wanted everything to kind of kick off. I mean, the start of the year was great. I think my January was like my best month ever. And I thought, 2026 is going to be my year. It's going to be amazing. And I was getting loads of work in, and I was just like, I was on cloud nine. Whereas now that things are a bit more still and a bit more slow in terms of my work and stuff, it's making me go into my mind a little bit and overthink, and probably be a bit quite fearful and a little bit anxious and a little bit of the not knowing. But I need to always remember, and this is something that you should remember too, is that everything will always work out, and just keep doing things that are giving you inspired action towards your goals, and you will be rewarded for that. So yeah, I think I just need to keep going. I need to believe in myself and know that I am good at what I do, and the work will flow to me because I am good at what I do. And yeah, everything will work out perfectly. That's what I keep trying to tell myself. And that's another thing they say about manifestation. They say to not look at the 3D as the truth, when I don't really understand that saying sometimes. Like, for example, what if you did love everything in your 3D, in your 3D reality, and you loved everything about it? I don't understand. Do you not believe that then? Because then you're saying the opposite. You're saying that you shouldn't believe it. So then does that work when everything's positive as well? It just sometimes doesn't make sense to me. And I don't think we ever will understand it fully, but I do think there is some kind of magic in it. And I do think that if you don't believe in the magic, then it won't happen for you. So I do try to keep a positive mindset, and I do listen to affirmations, and I do listen to affirmation music. And even that, I think, am I forcing that too much? Am I like listening to it so much that is pushing things away from me? Does that make sense? So I have gone off that a little bit, and I've thought to myself, I just need to sit back and be, and actually just like sit within my energy, within my aura and not try. That is kind of my main goal for the next week. And I will do like maybe a follow up next week on next week's episode just to see how that's gone. If things are flowing, if things are in place, or if things are taking a very downward turn, because we don't want that. We do not want that, universe. Thank you. It will just be a very interesting experiment to see if I'm going with the flow and I'm not trying, I'm not pushing, I'm not actively trying to manifest, if things actually do work for me in my favor. So, yeah, that will be a very interesting and telling experiment. So, we'll wait and see on that one. I mean, it's not worked out up until this point for the past couple of weeks. So, I guess I'm willing to try anything to try and bring my mindset back to like a normalized, happy place where I am content and happy with my life. And I think one thing that I did do last night when I was tossing and turning in bed, and something that you can do if you're ever overthinking and you can't sleep, is I started thinking about things that I was actually grateful for. So instead of overthinking, not even negative things as such, but things that you're worried about, just turn that into something that you're grateful for. So I was literally laying in bed and I thought, well, I'm grateful that I'm able to go to sleep right now and be comfortable and safe and warm. I'm grateful that we have this beautiful home, or I'm grateful that I'm sleeping next to I was about to say husband then, nearly. I'm sleeping next to my fiance, Nathan, and him just being such an incredible person. So I was just trying to change my energy shifts in that way. So maybe I'll focus a bit more on gratitude this week as well, because I haven't really done my gratitude list as much this week as I should have done. So yeah, maybe this is my kind of accountability to myself, that I need to carry on doing my gratitude. And that's something that you can do too. Maybe try and incorporate gratitude into your daily routine, whether that's like 10 things that you're grateful for every single day, or even just 3 things. Not even something that you have to write down. You can even just say it in your head. I think people give so much advice where they're like, you need to do it this way, you need to write it down, but you can actually just do it any way you like, whatever feels right for you. You can say it out loud, you can say it in your head, you can write it down, you can do it at night, in the morning, in the afternoon, like whatever works for you and whatever fills your cup and makes you feel whole and good, then that's what you should go for. So that wraps up today's episode. I hope you found something in there useful. I know I went on a bit of a tangent about manifestation, but I feel like I'm spilling out my thoughts at the moment on what I feel like maybe you guys need to hear right now, and especially something that I need to hear. And yeah, I will do that experiment this week and give you a little rundown next week to see how that goes, because who knows, maybe I am just in my head a little bit and everything's going to be working out perfectly and this will all be a thing of the past. So who knows? But yeah, hopefully enjoyed that. Just do your own research on anything to do with manifestation or things manifesting in your life that you want to happen and your goals and stuff like that. There is so much out there. Try not to get confused, because it can be quite conflicting and it can be really frustrating sometimes. So just stick to someone that you feel like you can listen to and you trust like what they say. And yeah, just go with what feels natural and like in alignment with you. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope to see you on the next episode.